Hi, hello, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable 2. Alright, I just got back and I just realized that it says the sequel is now paused. I paused the game. I'm back with fish sticks like I said I was going to go do it in the last episode. As long as I didn't cut that part out. I don't think I'll have, but maybe. I'm sorry, I should talk with my mouth full.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
bucket's
room.
back!
Perhaps
The
he had
bucket's
simply
back!
missed a memo.
My emotional support bucket's back.
And
How
try
was your
not to
trip?
lose this one too, you dolt.
I didn't lose it. I let that one go.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Me and the bucket are
Stanley
going
had
this way.
felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
It changes all
And
the
here
time.
it was. Had the bucket
It's
turned
so
out
good.
to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I want to see how the
Good,
bucket
Stanley.
changes this
I'm glad
one.
you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Where am I?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very
That's
much.
a giant baby.
It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable.
That's
it's
a
just
giant
sequel
baby.
content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Leave
Yes,
my
I know
bucket
I'm the one who
alone.
gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Me and my bucket are going.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Me and my bucket are traveling along the adventure line. It's an adventure. Who knows where it'll take us, but it's the adventure
Now,
line.
this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then.
What?
Let's do it for the fans, Stanley.
Did that actually
Let's give
happen?
them more content exactly like this.
Yeah,
But if we want to do that,
with the
you're
bucket.
going to have to give
And
something
the bucket's here too.
up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality
shit.
that to me it already
I
feels
might
as
have
though
just
it's been
soft-locked
part of
myself
the
'cause they
cast
weren't
all
planning
along.
for
Don't
this.
you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out
No,
for
it doesn't
you.
matter anymore because I'm soft locked. I'm sorry.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I wanted to sequence break out of your thing, but I accidentally soft locked myself. Do I get to make a post about this and act all high and mighty, just like the fucking mind control room pit? Can I get back up, please? I want to go that way. I don't think that way will soft lock me like this way. You didn't foresee this, game developers. Bucket, I'll meet you again in the next life. I hope this doesn't end the sequel part. Okay.
Going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
I can't wiggle on top of this chair. I can wiggle on top of this one.
This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Soft lock myself again.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Okay, nothing down there either. All right. Time to skip forward again. Oh, that's different.
How long was I sitting there?
What's so important about the broom closet?
That they've never seen
I
before.
could put the bucket in there, I'm assuming, but is there more to it from the original game?
Bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story
when I get back to
the
not being in the
line?
sequel thing,
We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes,
maybe I could just go
that's
there.
what
Maybe
the
if I just don't
fans
pick up
want.
the
Let's
bucket.
do it.
Maybe something happens if I'm in the broom closet. I don't know.
Look at that wacky line. You're going to have to give something. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I don't want to destroy the bucket, but I want to continue with this plot thread.
Now
Goodbye,
listen to
emotional
me.
support bucket.
It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
Isn't good.
Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer,
you would
see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh, I think I died. Oh, God. What's happening?
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I killed the Bucket Destroyer. I let it starve to death. Alright, now let's go feed the Bucket Destroyer.
All it knows. That
I
is
literally
its
can't
singular
feed the bucket, so this is a
trait.
waste
Sure,
of time.
I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of...
Alright, that's alright. I mean, I really didn't want to feed the bucket anyways. I feel like the bucket is going to change some of the endings.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't.
Oh,
buy
I meant
that
to
sort of
end that
happiness,
video
Stanley.
there.
God knows
Fuck,
I've tried.
okay, well.
So, I implore you to
Might be a long
savor
episode,
each
might
and
not be.
every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Wait. No. The next location is this vent. Wherever it may lead. Where is this? Where am I?
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Rahata? What?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back.
Let's see
and
what
so the two of
the
them
bucket
detoured
changes
through
about the
maintenance
main
section and walked
storyline.
straight
And then I
ahead
think
to the opposite
this will be my
door.
last... Oh, hold on, this is still the same episode. Fuck. Alright, well, it might be a long episode. Whoa. Trust... There will be a reward for fighting them all. Everything in here just changed to, like, finding these losers. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Somewhere both red and blue. Nearby a fireplace. A private but smelly place for an important person. Okay, so there's one in the office. Or in the bathroom, the executive bathroom.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Found you. I got the feeling money's for stealing, but no, not yours, of course. Something SG Sarge. That's a lovely
Another
purse.
miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I have to cut this episode if it's really long, otherwise it'll just be normal.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Okay,
Wasn't expecting to find another one
the
here.
name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figleys. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
There's all sorts of moves that I want to fucking redo just with the bulk and see how it changes, but for now, I'm gonna go
The
to the
elevator
end.
raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
What happened to employee 528? Is that the office? The boss's office?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
Is this
his own life in
right?
someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust
This feels
no
different,
one
but I don't.
except
Maybe it's not.
for the bucket.
This might be the same. Yeah, it's no.
But
yeah, it's
here
the
was
same.
the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
All right, since this is gonna be the last episode of the night for me, I'm just gonna do the same ending I did the first time, but this time with the bucket's emotional support.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of
throw
the
the bucket.
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Well, that was interesting. Alright, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. Have a good night.